Hey, what's up, heroes? We are continuing our study this month of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Today, we're going to be going over section 1 of the book. Before we get into that, I wanted to go over the 9 suggestions that Carnegie gives you for getting the most out of this book. And we're going to go through this really quickly so you have time for discussion. First off is you've got to want to read the book. You've got to want to develop those human relation principles, or you won't be led to read the book. Secondly, Carnegie recommends reading the chapter twice, once really quickly just to get a bird's eye view of what the chapter is talking about, and then at least one other time to really analyze what's going on and apply it to your own life. And that's the next suggestion he says is as you read, stop frequently and ask yourself, in my everyday situations with my spouse, my kids, my coworkers, my boss, club members, whatever, how can I apply these suggestions? He also is a big fan, as am I, of writing in the book. Underline important ideas, right next to them what you're thinking of, people that you think it could apply to. And then along with some of our other books, it's recommended that you go back and review this book. If you haven't read it in a long time, you're probably going to say, wow, there's stuff in here I don't even remember. So going back, even if it's just looking at the main suggestions of the book, is a good way to remind yourself of what you learned and help you continue to practice it. And then it is a working book. It's meant to be truly applicable. So when you read a section that day or the next day, go out and see where you can actually use that principle and try to be as proactive as you can. Carnegie recommends even making a game out of it, offering a friend or a mentor $1. He says a dime, but things have changed a little bit. $1, $5, $10. Anytime they catch you not following the principles, which is a really good way to keep you honest. And then finally, look back and do a self-evaluation on how you're doing. And he does this, he suggests doing it once a week. We do this in the Morning Hero program on Fridays. And then keep notes on how and when you've applied these principles. For us, a great way to do this is on the Hero Tribe. So that's at community.themorninghero.com. And put in a success for, hey, I tried out this principle. This was the situation, and man, it actually worked better, and I've been banging my head against the wall. With that said, section 1 is fundamental techniques in handling people. And the 3 techniques that Carnegie brings up in here are don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Number 2, give honest and sincere appreciation. And number 3, arouse in the other person an eager want. So let's go over the notes of these really quickly, and then you're going to have a little bit of time to discuss. So for criticizing, condemning, or complaining, he starts the chapter with a great idea. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Criticizing almost never, ever works. It might get a short-term behavioral change, but it's never going to make lasting change. It's almost always going to incur resentment. Criticisms and rebuke are almost always futile. So anytime you can just hold your tongue, do it. Instead of condemning people, Carnegie recommends that you take time to try to really understand them. Put yourself in their shoes. And he talks about a quote from Lincoln where Lincoln says, hey, if we were in the same situation with the same variables, we'd probably do the same thing. So try to figure out why the other person is doing what they're doing, or why they're opposing you, or what is it, and see if you can really get into their skin. Covey says it a different way. He says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. There's a lot more profit. This is a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism, and it breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. The second principle, give honest and sincere appreciation. And in fact, the book talks about being lavish in your praise, doing it constantly. The only way to truly get someone to do something is to make them want to do it. One idea that he recommends, and this is something we practiced, we had a whole month on gratitude last month, was leaving a friendly trail of little sparks of gratitude on your daily trips, whether it's sending a note to the chef and saying, oh my gosh, this is the best steak I've ever had, or letting the barista know, wow, you've got a great smile, or you were so friendly today, you really made my day. Just leaving those little sparks of gratitude. Honest appreciation gets results where criticism, which was our last principle, fails. And this is big. People will cherish your words and treasure them long after you've forgotten what the heck you said to them. I know that's true in my life. There have been compliments people have paid me that I'm sure they don't ever even remember saying, but they stick with me. And then the other reason that this is really helpful is that people will then want to live up to your compliments. If you tell them how great they are at doing something, that's going to put in their mind, oh, yeah, I am good at that. And they're going to want to live up to that. And then the negative behaviors that you don't like will just automatically extinguish, they'll automatically wither away. Finally, this is kind of a sales technique: arouse in the other person an eager want. Nobody cares about what you want. And the book gives a great example of a form letter where a company's trying to get something from someone, and it's all about the company and what it will do for the company. They don't care. You need to care about what the other person wants, or Zig Ziglar calls it with them, or WIIFM, what's in it for me. So you need to show the other person how your goods, your services, your idea, your attitude can solve their problems. And if you do that, you never have to sell. You just show them this great thing. So the world is full of people out there who are grabbing and self-seeking. Somebody who is unselfish, somebody who is focused on service first, is so rare you won't have any competition. So what you want to do is figure out what that person's, they call it hot buttons in sales. What do they really want? Get them really aroused toward that want, and then show them how you can satisfy it. All right, with that said, it's time for discussion. These are the 3 fundamental techniques in handling people. Have you used any of these before? And how did they work for you? What are some examples? Or did they backfire? What are some ways that you could improve? Go ahead and discuss, and I will talk to you next week.